It's hard to tell how windy it is, but this is the precursor of Hurricane Milton that we got coming over here. We're in South Florida here, so got my X7 outside and pulled in the S1000, so that way we can do some work on that. So I got this bike last Friday. I'm up to 279 miles. I've been trying to ride as much as I can, but between kids and work and life, and not able to do a whole lot. But yeah, 279 miles, and since last Friday, so a little less than a week. Not too bad at all. Today we're going to be working on getting rid of this tail tidy here. As you can see, not as bad as on some other bikes, but still pretty beefy. You got the turn signals as well, so we're going to go ahead and remove those. And instead, we got some TST lights that we're going to put onto here. As you can see, the bike is already really dirty. I haven't actually given it its first wash yet. One of the things is that this M Endurance chain is supposed to be not too much of maintenance, but they put a lot of grease on there, so that's pretty much all these little white specks is all this grease that came from the chain. So it's going to take a bit to wash that off, but we'll take care of that in a second. For the most part, changing this is pretty easy. I'm going to show you guys how to disconnect the wires on the inside, but once you do that, all you got to do is remove these two bolts and the whole thing basically slides out. So the first step we're going to do is go ahead and remove this rear seat, and we do that with just the key going in right there. Okay, so once you remove the seat, you're actually going to find your wires here. These are for the turn signals. These actually had a little zip tie on them that you're going to cut. And then this one's for the license plate light. So you want to just disconnect these. These ones are just kind of like your regular connectors. You're going to lift up on one side and then you pull out from the other side. And then you'll be able to very easily disconnect those. On the seat here, the seat actually only has one bolt. And it's going to be this one right back over here, so you want to remove that. This is going to be a T25, and once you do that, you're going to actually find two more bolts down here, kind of similar to these two here. Those are actually the ones you're going to remove, along with these two at the top. So it's going to be these two. These actually have a longer collar, so make sure that you pay attention to these and kind of keep them separate. Those are the ones that go in the back, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4 that I'll show you once I take off this seat. Okay, so here we have the seat off, and now you can see these two bolts right here. So these are the 4 that we're going to remove, and then just those 2 on the top. Once you remove them, you're actually going to be able to release these little clips right here. They kind of just go in just like that, and then you can actually separate this top piece from the bottom half. It just kind of comes off when you just gently pull on it. So now we have separated the top half of the shell from the bottom half, and we have these wires disconnected. So then we can go ahead and come down here, and we can remove these 2 wires here. Just make sure when you remove the second one that you're supporting the tail, just because it will fall down. Those are the only 2 things that are holding on to it. Looks like the rain is starting here for Milton, so things are starting to get a little crazy out here. Gonna try to finish this up and bring my car in soon. All right, so I removed those 2 bolts and it came right out, and then the wires come right through this hole. So pretty simple, you just take it and there it is sitting over there. Now what we'll have to do is we'll have to open up these 2 screws. They're actually attached to this bracket here, but this is now where the light's going to attach to. So you're going to take out the bolt and then remove this, slide this bracket out, because you're just not going to need that. And then we're going to go ahead and put the lights in there. So I put one of the lights in, and after I removed that bolt, I had taken out that piece on the other side, and all you basically do is that you take the light and you slide it through with the wiring through that little hole. With the size of the hole, this was plenty big, but what I found, and I'll show you on this side, is that this hole on this side is actually a teeny bit small. The hole down here is plenty fine, but this one's a teeny small, so I actually used my drill and I made it just a teeny bit bigger, and that allowed me to just enough space to push through the bolt right there. So yeah, once you do that, this is kind of how it looks. And then we're gonna go ahead and use a 10 millimeter and just tighten this down with the washer right there. So when you're putting your nut and washer over the wire, the washer goes down pretty easily. The nut, what you'll have to do is you'll have to put 2 in at once, and then after you do this first 2, you then put in the third one, and you kind of tuck it in, and then you slide them all down. Once you're going over this area, it is a little tight, so I basically just twisted it and kind of put a little pressure, but not too much to make sure not to mess with these wires too much. And the same thing when you get down here. After that, you just slide it on there, and then you just tighten it nice and snug there. After this, now we're gonna go ahead and do our wiring. So it comes with some pretty quality connections here. What we're gonna do is put a sleeve over this that we're gonna heat connect, and then with that sleeve, we don't have to worry about any false connections or anything like that. So what you're gonna do with the connection is that you're gonna use the heat shrink tubes, and you're gonna put them on top, and then you're gonna heat shrink these down. You're gonna connect them depending on where you are in the US. You do blue to red, gray to yellow, and black to black. And they basically have it kind of dummy proof because the black only goes one way and the other two go the other direction. So you just got to make sure you plug it in. If you reverse these two with the red and the gray, the blue and the gray, you end up with the Euro setting. So you just want to make sure that you put it in the right way. Euro gives you an amber color, but as US, it's only the red. Once you do that, you're going to heat shrink the tubes right up over the connections, and that makes them secure, and you can go ahead and plug them in. So that's what I did here. At this point, I went ahead and checked to make sure it was working, and everything is, and I'll show you guys that at the end. So now we're going to go ahead and put everything through and reconnect it. Basically, we're going to use these tubes and just reconnect it to how it was, and just kind of do some cable management to keep it out of the way. I also connected my new license plate lights. This is the one that I'm going to use. So we're gonna go ahead and work on that next. So you can see the lights here, but next we're gonna go ahead and put on this license plate bracket. This is gonna basically cover the hole, and it's got the 2 bolts there. We got 2 new bolts that we're gonna use. These are a little bit longer. I'm gonna actually put Loctite on these just in case, because this isn't something that I plan on taking off. And then this is the actual bracket that we're gonna put on, and just those 2 holes. So pretty simple. You're just gonna basically connect the bolts up. Here's the area that you're gonna put on the license plate light as well. So we'll go ahead and we'll put that on first, and then we're gonna put that through this and plug that in, and then we'll put on the bracket next. Okay, so once you heat shrink those heat shrinks, I guess, over the connectors, you're basically gonna do your wire management and just try to put it back just the way you found it. If you actually look closely right here, there's a space actually here for your zip ties. So they actually give you 2 zip ties with a TST set. So that's where you can put that zip tie. You basically can set it up so it looks just like OEM. So you're gonna have those wires there. You're gonna have your license plate bracket wires. That came separate. Something else that I got separately, I'll put that also in the video as to where I got that. But that also is where that's plugged in. And then you just wanna tuck your wires away and just make it look clean. After that, basically you're gonna put your screws or bolts back in. So you got the 2 longer collars here, and you got the shorter ones there. To show you what I was talking about with those collars, so this is the shorter one. So you can see that right underneath where you screw it in. There's like a little collar there, and that's on the smaller side. You can compare that to, let me find this one, and you can see that's almost double the size. So it's pretty obvious, so just make sure you pay attention to that. And you put these bigger ones into that one in the back, okay? Out with the old, in with the new. So we got the brake lights installed here now, instead of these things on the side. And then we got the license plate on this bracket. And this I can actually swivel. I just have it tucked right now, but I can actually swivel that out if I wanted to. So yeah, let's go ahead. We'll start the bike. See what they look like. Ooh yeah, nice and bright. Perfect. And you can see that the license plate light works as well, right in the middle there. So yeah, everything is connected. Let's go ahead and try doing some brake lights. All right, seems like we're done for today. So if you're doing this on your bike, congrats on the S1000, and yeah, pretty easy turnover, I gotta say. Pretty quick switch.